It's delicious.
Oh, that sauce, chef.
So good.
But
Yeah. Fresh pineapple, everything from scratch. It's awesome.
hey guys, Greg Hudson here with America's Best Restaurants. And listen, the bourbon craze is underway in the United States, so naturally you've heard of Horse Soldier Bourbon. That's an American favorite. But what you probably didn't know is that under that same umbrella here in St. Petersburg, Florida, is a restaurant serving up high-quality, top-shelf dishes with an ambiance to match. Come with me. Let's head on in to Urban Stillhouse. Wrong door. So we are looking for Meredith, but I have a feeling this is going to be like finding someone in a castle. Look at this place.
Many tic-tacs later.
Oh my goodness. Well, she's not in here, but this is a pretty cool room. All right, let's keep going. Look at this, man, from up top. Beautiful view. Another bar upstairs?
Few inches later.
All right, so I see a room right here with a pool table, some couches, a fireplace. I think we might have found Miss Meredith.
Just then.
Oh, Meredith,
Hey.
great to see you.
Great to see you, buddy.
I gotta be honest with you, I feel like I just found the boss at the end of a level of a video game. We've been running around here looking for you. This place is gorgeous.
Not a small place.
And then I look in here, I see a pool table, a fireplace, and a couple bottles and some food. I figured this is it. This is it.
Hang out.
Well, let's stop for a second and discuss not just how beautiful the place is, not just how incredible the menu and food look. The story behind this place is just you couldn't make it up.
Yeah. So what we do here is we try to tell the story of Horse Soldier and Horse Soldier Bourbon. Essentially, they were the first guys into Afghanistan days after 9/11. There is a movie called 12 Strong that kind of Hollywoodized them. There's a statue at Ground Zero dedicated to them. What they did was truly phenomenally incredible.
Yeah.
I encourage anyone out there that doesn't know the story to definitely Google it. It's a fabulous story, and it's a real true story. True story we're very proud of. So,
I want to pause for just a second because I want to. You're being really modest because when you say you have a personal connection. This isn't just an homage to the guys who did this. There's a personal connection here.
Well, what's funny is they're incredibly modest. So you have some of the most heroes, absolute American heroes.
Oh my,
walk
are you
around
kidding
here
me?
Every day, and they don't say anything. They smile, they shake hands, and they say, "God bless America," and that's pretty much it. So
Wow.
it's incredible. But my dad actually started this business with my stepmother, who designed the place, and my uncle. I have a lot of uncles. Scott. They were out in Yellowstone on horseback. They were trying to figure out what do we do after we get out of service. Dad had been out for a little bit, and they just had a stroke of lightning. What do we like to do? Well, we like to drink, and we have a great attention to detail, which is something that Green Berets have, and that's what whiskey bourbon takes to make. So the dream was born. They traveled the world. Actually, they studied how to distill. It's not a gimmick. They know what they're doing. We make our booze. It's pretty incredible. And they came back. They found a space here in St. Pete, and they called me.
And then here you are. You swooped in. And you brought up a really good point I don't think I've ever thought about. I've been a bourbon guy for a very long time. I kind of live near the bourbon country. And you're right, there is such an attention to detail that takes place with that.
Oh, yeah.
And a light bulb went off for me personally when you mentioned, as a Green Beret, that takes probably more attention to detail than almost any other profession.
Yeah.
So if those are the guys behind this bourbon, I think we're in for some great spirits.
Yes.
And I noticed on the menu that you're incorporating this into dishes, right?
We are, yeah. So this product we try to put into as much as possible. We have our own identity for sure. We focus pretty heavy on the bourbon on our cocktail menu with kind of our own twist, right? So we have a big mixology program. We have all kinds of things here. But for example, we use broken down barrel staves in our wood-fired grill. That gives it that kind of bourbon taste.
That's, wait, in the kitchen?
Yes.
So if you get something off of the grill,
yes, it should taste
from
like
the
bourbon.
kitchen here, you're getting, it's got some staves in there that are actually fueling the fire in there.
Exactly.
Literally fueling the fire.
Yeah, well, and then the kind of moniker behind Horse Soldier is forged in fire. So that kind of goes with our brand and our theme. And then we use it in a lot of our sauces. It's in our Bison ribeye sauce. We make a maple syrup that we pour all over our waffle for brunch. Any place we could pour bourbon, we do.
I'm not mad at that. And talk me through the dishes here.
Sure. So this is a veal meatball. This has been on the menu since the day we opened. You know, there's things when you go to your favorite restaurant that you expect to see, right? This is one of them. It's never going to change.
Beautiful.
My chef, Kenny, who you'll meet, he's 25, 30 years. He is Italian classically trained. So he does a great meatball. This is from scratch, veal meatball, homemade red sauce. It's not reinventing the wheel, but there's something about it. Our customers just can't live without it. It's an appetizer. It's easy. It's shareable. Charcuterie. These are made by a Special Forces friend of ours. These boards.
Get out of here.
So he makes them out of barrel staves. And so we love our charcuterie here. It's a great starter. It's, you know, everything that's seasonal meat, seasonal cheese. It changes every week. And our bread is really freshly grilled here on our grill.
Get out of here. And just like the bourbon, you can tell right away just from looking at these appetizers. Just like the bourbon, the food here is not a gimmick.
No.
You have a real chef in there. You're putting together just beautiful presentation of stuff.
Yes, thank you. We do like to have a nice presentation. This is actually our smoked venison tartar. We're big game people. Our family spends a lot of time out west. This is the idea of the Horse Soldier was born in Yellowstone. You know, our family and friends, we like game. So we do a smoked venison tartar that when you open that at the dinner table, it does smoke.
I was going to say, I'm like wafting. Yep. I was going to say to you, it's like wafting out of here.
Just like a smoked old fashioned in a way, but it's venison with a fresh egg on top.
That looks absolutely
and then
gorgeous.
A couple of accoutrements with that. That dish is just really another staple that I just think our customers it's an interesting, it's an interesting piece of meat to have here in St. Pete, Florida.
But it's also, everything just also feels very authentic to you and to the team and the heroes that you're representing. This all seems very authentic. And the way you mentioned, the venison makes sense because they spend a lot of time out west. Like, yeah, that does belong on the menu. You're right. You're right. Well, I would love to meet Chef.
He's here, I think so. I mean, he should be.
And see what's going on in the kitchen. This space is gorgeous. This place is great. The cocktail list looks incredible.
Yes, another one of those things that we're proud of. We've actually got almost 450 specialty brown spirits at this bar upstairs from around the world. Yeah.
So as you can see, we finally found Meredith. She's like,
I'm up
here in the special room. We finally found the boss at the end of the level of this game. But next we're gonna go into the kitchen and see the chef and get started on the food.
Perfect.
All right, we're back in the kitchen now with Chef Kenneth, who's going to take us through, I guess, one of your more popular dishes at the restaurant, right? This is one that people seem to rave about.
Yeah, this has been on the menu since day one of the few items, and I'm going to tell you, I didn't plan it that way. It just happened that way. Chefs sometimes hate and love signature dishes all at the same time, because it's like you got to make it over and over again. Sometimes you just get so sick of looking at it, but when you eat it, it's so good. It really
this one you're all right with staying on the menu all the time.
Yeah, definitely. So this lamb is domestic lamb. This comes from Colorado.
Beautiful.
The difference between if you would get like a New Zealand lamb chop or a domestic lamb chop, which most of it comes from that Colorado, Montana area, really has to do with the size and the marbling in the lamb and how they feed and treat the lamb. We start off with a great quality lamb. It just makes all the difference in the world. So we just take a little bit of fat cap off the top of the lamb, and then we prepare it for an order. Now this is a perfect order with 4 chops right here.
Lovely.
So
you guys are doing that in-house, right? Trimming that lamb.
Yep. So you get a pan nice and hot. Put a little bit of oil and just a little bit of butter. The oil will bring the smoke tap up, but you want a nice hot pan. You want it to smoke.
Yeah.
We're gonna season very aggressively with salt and pepper. You're gonna go right into that pan. That side down, and we're gonna let it really get a good sear.
Hey, can I ask you something? I'm gonna be really honest. I noticed
Sure.
you decided we're going to pull out a pan that's a bit more round than I expected, but I see you're kind of resting the edges against that.
Sure,
Does
because
help
that way
everything?
you get to sear the entire
So you
thing.
get the shape of that lamb with it.
Sure.
Man, see, you guys at home, this is the stuff you need to be watching.
And you
This is
see
a
that
pro
butter
tip from a
browns
chef.
instantly and becomes nice and nutty.
Yeah.
And really gives you good color and good nutty flavor at the same time as you're searing. So then our pan's nice and hot. We're gonna take this and we're gonna go to the oven.
Beautiful.
I'll be right back. I'll show you what we're gonna come back with. We have this lamb that's seared, but it's
Come on.
it's still pretty rare, okay? At this point, we're gonna take a little bit of this fig jam. We're gonna smear it right on here.
Fig jam?
This is a fig jam, yeah. Dolmata fig jam. And you kind of want to paint your lamb.
So you get a nice coverage on that whole thing.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna let you do this part. Ready?
I'd love to.
You're gonna get in here and you're gonna just sprinkle the nuts right over the top.
You got it, chef.
And be generous, be aggressive.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
get in there, go. You're not gonna mess it up. Be
Man,
generous,
I
keep
love
going,
this.
keep going.
You know, and a chef like you with that, your kind of experience, man, like you, I'm a little nervous right now, but I love that you're just saying, hey, get in there, get aggressive with it.
Go, there you go, that's beautiful. Now you see you got that nice crust. Now we'll take it and we'll go back to the oven one more time. Comes back from the oven and it's cooked and we want to let it rest for a little while.
Okay.
We're just gonna let it sit there and kind of rest. And the general rule with most meats, about half the amount of time you cook it, you want to let it rest. And what that does is that the juices, it's a muscle, so it constricts when it gets hot. And you
Yeah.
want to let it rest, and you want the juices to flow back all the way out. So that's what helps make it tender and juicy.
I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, people watch this, and I want you to know at home, you read recipes, and people read you need to let meat rest, but to hear from a chef, hey guys, this is why you want to let this rest, and really explain that.
Yeah, if you want
it
to
makes
have
a massive difference,
Well,
man.
any type of steak, any type of red meat especially, you really want to try to let it rest. It's just going to make the end result be so much more juicy and tender, that's all.
Thank you for that.
If you have the opportunity. Now, to plate it, we're gonna let it rest. We make this as a potato gratin. So this is the quick version of the long process. We take potatoes and slice them super, super thin. We layer it with cream and goat cheese and Parmesan cheese. We cook them for about an hour in the oven at about 350 degrees. And we cut these perfect little squares out. And this accompanies the dish with some baby carrots as well.
That sounds great.
In 10 seconds, we'll be right back. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut a few nice chops right out of here.
I can't wait to. So what are we expecting here, Chef?
It should be like a nice medium rare chop. We're gonna go rare for the camera just because the red looks really pretty.
I'm fine with that, my friend. I love that. I love that. Beautiful. Beautiful.
And then we'll take a little bit of Maldon sea salt, sprinkle right over the top of the lamb.
Goodness. Man, so this thing gets plated. We get those potatoes, the carrots.
Let's get ready to plate. Grab our sauce. Spoon a little right in the front. I'm gonna come right behind you.
All right.
And then we'll plate it up.
This is like such a chef trick, I feel like I'm gonna.
Be a little more generous.
Okay.
Yeah, a little more.
You were
got
here
it.
to guide me through it. Then okay.
You're doing great,
You want
though.
that streak though, right?
Right down the
That
middle. There
freezes
you go. I'm gonna put a nice piece of potato here. I'm gonna take the lamb.
Oh, chef. Oh, that's gorgeous.
Stick a couple carrots, kind of willy-nilly all over the place.
And I love just the color and the pop that these carrots bring to it as well. I love
Right.
using different colored carrots on there.
Just a little bit of
Oh, that's gorgeous.
let it fall where it may fall. And then we finish with just a little bit of chive oil for a little extra sauce. And that's it.
That is beautiful. I don't see how you can be sitting in a dining room and watch this past your table going somewhere else and not put an order in for that.
Yeah, so the beautiful thing
Beautiful.
is you've got
It's
that
gorgeous.
nuttiness, you've got that sweetness of the fig and you've got that gaminess of the lamb. It just marries together so well.
That is beautiful.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Man, it is time for dinner, and we've got everybody with us. Chef came out of the kitchen this time. We got Meredith here, and this looks gorgeous. We're kind of going surf and turf by trying to two main dishes here, but Chef, you have to talk us through this.
Right off the bat, I'm going to talk about our bison. You know, when we first opened, at one point, everyone wants their steak and potatoes. I was doing the filet and the potatoes, but I got turned on to this bison meat from a friend of mine, and it's been a winner ever since we put it on the menu. 100% grass-fed, never finished with corn, free range, no antibiotics or hormones in it, so it's a great quality red meat. Some people are a little afraid of the term bison or buffalo.
No,
they think,
no.
but you eat it next to a filet, you almost wouldn't tell. That grass-fed gives you a little bit more earthy flavor. Very clean. Meredith's 100% right. And we do it so simple with some lyonnaise potatoes. Fish.
So simple, but guys, so simple. So you know, right? Yeah, Chef, so simple. Are you
and then
kidding
our own bourbon herb butter on top.
And I love that through line of the bourbon that you guys have in each dish here. Of course, the cocktails are outstanding, the old fashions, which I'm ready for more of those.
Yeah.
But the way that you guys are able to take your spirits and really make sure that they're the through line through your dishes as well.
Sure. Yeah,
Let's dig into this, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, carve it up.
We have a lot of guests that come in and they know us as a restaurant, or they know us as the brand. They don't know us as both. So we try to teach them, educate them, like we are a restaurant, but we also are this brand, or vice versa.
See, that makes sense though. You're right, because your bourbon's incredibly popular, not just in the area, obviously, all over the country. People have heard of Horse Soldier Bourbon around the country. So to come in here and have this be under that flagship, but with a menu that stands on its own.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Come on, guys.
You want to get a perfect bite, a little bit of potato.
Yeah, you need the sauce
of
for
meat.
sure.
And the butter should have really drooled down through everything by this point.
Oh, so good.
And so this is a bourbon and herb butter.
Mm-hmm.
And Chef, as I'm taking a bite here, talk us through what you mentioned about being grass-fed,
good.
and you mentioned sometimes things are corn finished. What does the finish versus
our
the
bison
fed?
is 100% grass-fed, and some people will use that term, but what happens is bison is free range. Lots of times they finish it by penning it in and finishing it on grain, because grain helps it get fatter quicker. Costs less money. Costs more money to keep it on grass the entire time to get the animal to the point where it's big enough where they can bring it to slaughter. Ours is 100% grass the whole way through.
Beautiful.
Really, an animal like a bison is supposed to eat grass. You're not supposed to eat corn. And that's why a lot of feedlot type animals or anything that's coming out of a feedlot, they need antibiotics because those things aren't natural for them to eat, and it messes up their stomachs and it gets them sick. So being 100% grass-fed just provides you with the fact that this is 100% free-range grass-fed, and the quality comes through in the steak, and the health factor of how good it is for you comes through in the product as well.
It is, and Meredith, you mentioned earlier, this is an incredibly lean steak.
Yeah.
But the seasoning that you have with that, and those potatoes are perfect. I almost get a little crunch of garlic somewhere, maybe.
Sure.
Caramelized onions.
Is that what it
Caramelized
was?
onions.
Oh my gosh, those are delicious.
Yeah.
But
Some garlic in there with the onions, absolutely.
But that flavor profile with everything together, like when you get a bite with that herb butter, with a little bit of that bourbon, and then you get that bison, but then those potatoes and that onion, swipe it all together, that one bite is just a perfect.
This is a top seller for us.
It's got to be, right?
It is, and when we are very lucky, we have a guy, our bison guy, who is just a fabulous friend and become, very important to our business. But we have a great working relationship with him. So,
Sure.
So at home, that you get yourself a bison guy, because this is what you want.
Get a bison
I'm telling
guy.
you. Now let's move on to the fish here. This is impressive the moment it comes out of the kitchen. I'm just going to move this out of the way for us.
Let me tell you, I am a Northeastern guy. I grew up in Boston, and I worked in Boston and New York. And I didn't know hogfish till I came to Florida. I never had even worked with it before. One of the most important things when you're working with fish, local is always best. The more local, the quicker it comes to you, the faster and fresher the fish gets to you, the better quality is. Fresh is always best. Hogfish is an amazing fish. If you haven't had it before, we always have some type of whole fish. The hogfish can be spotty. The only way they catch this is with spears. So it's no net and not lines. They
Is
call
that
it
a
spear
fact?
fish.
it is. It's
Yep.
exciting when you see it on the menu.
And so it's very limited quantity. Sometimes I can get it, sometimes I can't. When I don't, usually I'll replace it with either yellowtail or black bass. Depends on the time of the year. But you can see the hogfish have those big old teeth.
It's kind of where they get their name.
Perfect size fish for 1.5 pound fish roughly. We put these nice little slats in it so you can break right down off of it.
And that's what I wanted to see. Yeah, let's turn this around so we can check this out.
Don't have to do a lot of work here.
You should be able to just come right down and that fish falls.
Look at all that meat on there.
It comes right off the bone when it's cooked properly. And that way you don't have to pick through a lot of bones. A lot of people will get afraid of fish that is whole because they're worried about all the bones, but the way we cut it, it comes right off really easy.
And I love that too, because I think, and you guys may have seen this being in this industry and having fish like this, but sometimes whole fish, it can be intimidating for people that have never had it.
For sure.
It can be an intimidating dish.
But cooking it on the bone really helps it to stay nice and moist. And that's one of the most beautiful things. And not only is the presentation a wow factor.
Oh.
A little simple tamarind sauce on the bottom. With
I wanted to ask you what that was.
It's like a sweet and sour thing going on, just some stir-fry vegetables, and that's it.
Sometimes we'll do this grilled, depending on the time of year, or we can if people ask for it grilled.
Sure.
Oh, wow, okay. There we
Doesn't need much on it.
Dig in.
Just a little lemon and herb. It's delicious.
Oh, that sauce, chef.
Now, a lot of people don't know tamarind, but it's a great product to work with because it gives you that
sweetness,
sour,
right?
Yeah.
It does. And can I tell you too, you mentioned that you haven't seen hogfish very much until you got to Florida. Listen, if you're watching this and this is something that doesn't look like it's in your wheelhouse, this is a very approachable fish.
Yeah. It's a white fish.
Light, it's delicate, it's
Very
white
light,
fish. It's not something that you can look at and be like, oh, there's no way I'd touch that. Don't be afraid of this. I mean, look, it's regular white fish. It's fantastic.
Delicious.
And the way that you're presenting it by wrapping it, you're right. All you got to do is take your fork. I'll do it for you. I mean, chef knows how to do it. He does it every day, but I don't. Look at this. Fork right down. All that meat comes right off.
And it's got that crispy skin on there too. It's so good. Yeah.
This is fantastic. Did you hear that crunch? Did you hear that? So good. Man, again, I said it before, but it bears repeating that the cocktail program you have here is one thing. The layout is gorgeous. But you come in and have dishes like this on top of it, but all while honoring the story and honoring the spirits that you're creating by weaving them into the dishes. It just all comes together, man. This is a special menu in place.
Thank you.
It really is. All right, one more bite. But chef, you said something to me earlier about dessert. I'm normally not a dessert guy, brother. I'm not gonna lie. I'm normally not. That's not me.
When it comes to desserts, I like big, gooey, and simple. And our pineapple upside down cake is something I think is special. I love a pineapple upside down cake. It reminds me of cheesy mom. Oh my God, mom made an upside down cake and that big metal thing that gets flipped up. We bake them individually and we use our cherries, the same cherries that we use in our cocktails when we make it, and simply serve it warm with some vanilla ice cream. It's excellent.
Delicious.
Well, Meredith, chef just twisted my arm.
Yeah.
So if it's cool, why don't we head upstairs, grab one of the cocktails that it sounds like it's going to pair well with the dessert chef's talking about. Is that all right with you guys?
Oh yeah.
Cheers.
Man, this fish. If I've learned anything at all, it is that you always listen to what a chef tells you to do. And chef said that we had to come up here and try dessert with a cocktail, and who am I to argue with the chef?
No.
Speaking of which, what in the world is this?
This is our famous smoked old fashioned.
Oh my gosh, you can totally smell that. You get the aroma?
Yeah. This is very special to this restaurant. We actually we'll share our secret ingredient. We actually barrel aged maple syrup in our barrels for a long time. And then we use maple syrup instead of sugar or agave, and we'll substitute for it. It really just tastes like a campfire. It's so good.
It smells like a campfire.
We're doing, I don't even want to give the number, but thousands of these a year. This is our go-to, and the smoke and everything. It's just really, it's so good.
And you kind of answered my question because your mixologists here are fantastic, first of all. And I'm just thinking to myself, I just saw her make that and bring it over and hand it to us. If I were sitting at a bar and someone get this, I'll bet the rest of the bar is ordering these.
Yep, it is a crowd.
It has to be a labor of love.
Yeah. And we do a lot of these, and I think you come here and you know you're gonna get a bourbon cocktail, but you might not know how intricate your cocktail's gonna be. Does that
Very
make
much
sense?
so. Yeah, the program you've put together here. I mean, like, what are you sipping on? What's this?
So
It's got like
is
a cinnamon stick.
This is the Prospector. Yeah, this was a fan favorite last holiday season. You can tell by the color. This is another Horse Soldier Bourbon cocktail, and we're using this is gonna taste like very holiday cinnamon. This is a homemade ginger liqueur in this.
Beautiful.
So all of the stuff we do here is extremely crafty and very
So.
intricate.
I like that. Well, speaking of intricate, this looks gorgeous. Before I sip on the cocktail, I don't want this ice cream to melt. So what chef got prepared for
All
us?
right, well, this is our pineapple upside down cake. And as he was saying earlier, this is something you might think about from your childhood, just like your mom kind of like flipping the pan over or something at holiday season. This is not that. This is homemade from scratch. This uses like an almond batter basically, so it's really gooey and it sticks together. And then a bourbon pineapple syrup on top, which we make here, and then homemade vanilla ice cream, which honestly is not reinventing the wheel, but for some reason, just vanilla is just like all you
It just
need.
pairs perfectly.
And then we use our filthy cherries, which is what we use in our cocktails.
Filthy cherries.
So
Filthy cherry.
you really, it's almost kind of
this
like
is-
a throwback to childhood, but in an elevated sort of way, right?
You're right. You said he's using like almond flour,
Yeah,
almond mix in there.
basically.
That is
Keeps it
so
together,
dense
sort
when
of,
you're
yeah.
when you're cutting into it. I'm gonna get a little bit of this vanilla as
Yeah.
well. Oh my goodness.
It's so good. On the top is obviously the pineapple, which we scorch.
Yeah, because you can see there the difference, but it looks similar in color.
So good.
But
Yeah, fresh pineapple, everything from scratch. It's awesome. I like
Get
to
outta
chase
here.
mine with a little drinky.
that's outstanding.
Yeah.
So, full disclosure here, I'm a Midwesterner, right? Born and raised in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a Midwestern thing. And maybe it's not, but you mentioned it where grandma's making the pineapple upside down cake, flipping the pan, right? And this
Yeah.
has hints of that nostalgia,
Yeah.
but boy, with an upscale twist to it.
I call it elevated.
Exactly, it
Kind
really
of brings
does.
you back to a certain place,
But except you're having it here instead
Yeah,
of grandma's house.
exactly.
You're in a different environment when you're tasting it this time.
Mhm.
And don't undersell that ice cream, man. You can tell that's homemade.
Oh, yeah,
That's
it's so good.
delicious.
By the way, my grandma comes here all the time, so more grandmas the merrier.
Yeah, and then she can taste the desserts,
Bring
make
'em
sure that
over.
they're
Grandma's like bourbon.
filthy cherries. That's true. But what I love too, the ice cream is, again, you can tell it's scratch made, but you're
Yeah,
right.
it's just-
It pairs well because it's not going to overpower the flavor of that dessert.
Because this is very sweet, right? With the
Yeah.
pineapple, so this kind of cuts that a little bit.
It does, but
Yeah.
a little creaminess with it,
Exactly.
but without overpowering that flavor.
This is a hot seller.
Little filthy cherry on top.
Oh yeah.
That's delicious. Well, we need to thank you for an incredible day.
You're
This has
welcome.
been
Thank you,
outstanding.
guys.
So I'm going to
It's
try
been
this
fun.
smoked old fashioned. What's cool with you?
Oh yeah. Please. And happy holidays also.
Happy holidays to everyone watching this. This is incredible. Where can people find you online? Because I know when you come to St. Pete, you come to the Tampa Bay area, you're going to find this place.
Sure. So we're on Instagram at Urban Stillhouse St. Pete. It's kind of Facebook, Instagram. We're not big Twitter people, but yeah, you can find us at Urban Stillhouse St. Pete and urbanstillhouse.com. Also horsesoldierbourbon.com. We kind of link together.
And also, Horse Soldier's available around the country as well, right? I mean, you're using it here, but
and we'll be expanding quite a bit this year. You can find us in pretty much, and also online. You can find us online. If you're not in a controlled state, we can ship to you.
wonderful.
Yeah.
You are not missing anything out here. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of America's Best Restaurants. I'm Greg Hudson. I'll definitely see you next time, but I need one more bite of the pineapple upside down cake. And thank you again.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.